Welcome back to Revs IT. Spring is on its way and it's time now to get the bikes ready for the road and to do all those little upgrades that you were intending to do ready for the springtime riding. And of course some of those involve cold weather still, so we'll be looking at fitting some heated grips, but also some protection for the bike and other little bits and pieces as well. The first thing though we need to do is to get the fairings off, because the first bit of protection I want to put on are the sliders, and they're Kawasaki's own brand sliders, so they should fit perfectly. But first all this plastic has to come off, so let's get on with that. We need first of all to take this top black piece off, different colours and different bikes of course. One hex bolt there and one little popper there. Let's get those done. So the hex bolt is really easy, as you'd expect. And remember, when you're taking these off, do it slowly, and when you're putting them back on, be very gentle. You don't want to over tighten them. You run the risk of cracking the plastics of the fairing, and they're not cheap. So careful as you take it out as well, because you don't want to drop it down there. And I suggest you have a little magnetic tray as well to keep these in, so that they don't go walkies. There's a little plastic washer on the end of it as well, don't lose that. Next then is this little plastic popper. Now to get this open and to take it out, all you need to do is press the little circle in the middle with, like that, it'll go click, and then you can lift it out. If you've got nails, if not, you might need a screwdriver to get it out, and that's what it looks like. Push that back up and it's ready to go again. So the little bit, I've dropped it, just a second. It comes back up, and then when you put it in, you push it back in, you press the little nub down so it's level again and it's fixed again. So that's part two. Now that's all it needs to take this piece off. But you've got to be very careful at this point, 'cause you don't want to damage anything. You take hold of it carefully and you slide it, and you've got to pull them quite firmly, but not too firmly that you're going to break anything. So get your fingers underneath and you'll feel it coming out. There's another one down here, clicked out. So all these should be out now, hopefully. Just make sure there may be another one not quite out. There we go. And all you do now is push it forward and it slides off. Now you can see on there all the little rubber hooks that you've got to be really careful of when you're actually sliding it off and when you're putting it back on. So that's off, and I'm going to put that and pack it away safely now. And here's a little close-up of the little rubber grommets. As you can see, there's one there, there's one above it, and there's one behind it as well. And that's what the plastics push into. Okay, so now that's done. The next thing we need to do is get the back and the front seat off. Back one of course comes off with the key underneath. The front one with the hex key, you'll find it in your toolkit. And these are generally a little bit tighter, but not too tight again. So I'll take that one out first. That's one. And that's two. And then the seat simply lifts up and comes off. Battery of course and everything underneath it. And to make sure I don't lose these, I just simply screw them in where they came from. Okay then, so next part is this little strip coming down here. You can see it's got two hex keys, one at this end and one at this end. So these need to come off. Okay, so this is the point, of course, where my battery and the camera microphone decided to die. This is a little insert then of how you take off the rest of the side panel. First of all, you've got the two hex bolts at the front here. You've got this, which is the wiring loom for the indicators, and then you've got one more hex bolt at the back. So we'll take those off first, and then I'll show you the other fixings that you need to take off. At the bottom of the fairing there are another two bolts and another popper. If not, actually there are two poppers. And then to do the same on the other side is exactly the same, except there is one less bolt on the bottom. So you can see probably there is a bolt on the bottom just by a kickstand there. There are two in that position, there is only one on the other side. So let's get these bolts off, and then we can carry on, hopefully, with sound and live recording at the time. Okay, so now we're at the bottom bolts. We got the two hexes here, 8mm I believe they are. Not that one. Okay, get a different one. Not that one either. I think it's the same size as the one for the back seat. Yes. These ones are all quite tight. There's one. There's two. That's one out. And then the second one. And that's the second one out. So now there remains just one screw, which is down here. Well, a hex key it is, down here. Actually, it's not a hex key. It's a little plastic pop rivet down there. And then the 4 pop rivets up inside the front of the fairing. So, let's do those next. Okay, so I'm not sure how well you can see this, but this has got a little cover on it. So I need first to take the cover off. Again, go gently. And once that's out, you should be able to just push a slightly different design of pop rivet or plastic rivet. So that's that one out. It is. And now the side is getting quite loose. And there's another one then, same type, right underneath there. You won't be able to see that, but I'll get that out now. Now these two are a little difficult to see, so you'll have to excuse the handheld nature of this bit of filming. So as you can see, there are two. One is here, and it'll be the same on the other side to take the other side fairing off. Okay, so we're just about to take off the main fairing. Everything should be detached. Now, there should be one rubber grommet just here that you should be able to pull the fairing away from. And it clicks. And as if by magic, the second one's off. In fact, a little bit easier than the first one, because you don't have the sensor and you don't have the second bolt down the bottom, but otherwise exactly the same as taking the other side off. Okay, so we're ready now to fit the sliders, so that'll come in the next video. Ride on, ride safe.